Good afternoon to all of my friends across the world. Welcome to another episode of A Journey into the Mind. I am your host, Francis Mann. Good evening if it is evening where you reside, good morning or good afternoon. Today's theme is about the mind, consciousness, our ability to perceive information and understanding ourselves even further through the process of thinking, perceiving information, and understanding how the mind works. I am reading for the second time this book called Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill. In this book, Napoleon Hill states the fact that when we look at ourselves in a mirror, are we seeing just the physical self? Are we seeing the structure of ourselves as we really are? Or is there another self behind the mirror? And the fact is that yes, there is. When we do a meditation or when we uh, think about something outside the realms of the understanding of our presence, such as out of body experience, we are experiencing at a conscious level, perhaps with our five senses. That states that there is more to the self. We are not just the mind and we are not the body, as Sadhguru say in some of his yoga meditation videos. The mind is something that helps us think, understand, and perceive. However, do we perceive with the mind or do we think with the mind? Likewise, the body. If you have an out of body experience, you are not present. Yet, it is possible to have an out of body experience and use all the five senses to be able to live that experience at a conscious level while dreaming or being out of your body. Now, think about the fact when you leave your body, is there a way? So, we're separating the physical or matter from the spiritual. Therefore, it is possible that we are conscious spiritual beings. In other words, our conscious experiences are being experienced through a spiritual level of our being as we are. Thus, that can conclude the fact that until now, it will not be possible for artificial intelligence to be conscious because it will have to be spiritual at the same time. Without the body, we can navigate through different dimensions and we can separate the physical from the material world we live in, and this physical body. And there is no way when we leave. We simply navigate either with our soul, our spirit, or just consciously. And that consciousness has many dimensions that we had yet to understand. And that is the purpose for me giving this video, because consciousness is something that is so debatable and it is so difficult to understand because we have to experience different levels of consciousness in order to understand what constitutes consciousness. Until now, we do not know. And it is possible that what we think we experience at a conscious level could be no more than a revelation from different spiritual beings and entities that have transcended communicating with us. And we adhere that through our ability to know what consciousness is with our understanding of who we are as a spiritual being. Life is not what we think it is, and what we see is not what is, because there is more to this physical aspect of whom we are and what we experience, what we perceive, what we understand, and how we navigate through this world in order to understand who are we as human beings. Are we a spirit? Are we a soul? Brahman Kumari said that we are a spirit, that we are a soul, and we are love. And we are entangled into all those three aspects of life. But there is more to the understanding as to how do we get information into our mind, how ideas are created out of the realms of the infinite through our conscious mind. How does one perceive information? Insurmountable. To be able to relate, to teach, to project, to experience, and continue on without limitation. I believe that the mind and our spirit and our consciousness are three of the most interesting aspects of what it means to be a human being. It is beautiful to know and understand that when we manifest, do you think you manifest with the mind, or are you manifesting with the spirit? Because if you're manifesting at a conscious level, you are manifesting with the spirit. And the spirit leads you to that manifestation which you desire. Because in order for that manifestation to come to be an essence in your way of thinking and perceiving, it has to come in through the consciousness, through the conscious level of who you are as a human being. And then you process that information and it becomes a desire, a vision, a need, a want, and a manifestation through the spiritual level. How does that manifestation come into being? Some people seem to think that in order to manifest something, you have to suffer. You have to go through a living hell. And it's not an easy process. Isn't it a fact that if you go to manifest at a spiritual level, it is almost a divine gift? It is a gift of God. You have already earned that. You have earned that manifestation. Therefore, it is come to you in order for you to process it, to indulge into it, and make it be what is meant to be. We are nothing but a spiritual process in evolution while we're here without a physical being. Because in order for you to experience who you really are as a being that you think is a structural figure that you see, you have to be in tune with that self, that entity that you are, that core of what you are. Whether you want to call it spirit, you want to call it a soul, you want to call it love, you want to call it the heart. Whatever that self is, you have to first be able to experience and manifest through it who you are. Then you'll understand what everything else outside of you is, even at the level of your five senses. Because when you do that, your five senses will develop even further, from the smell to the eye to the taste to the touch to the hearing. With the core of your heart, know that this is the core of everything. You first will experience it here, then it manifests into the rest of the senses within you. This being that we are is not so much a mystery, it's how it evolves and how it develops into being that we question oftentimes as to how is it possible? Do you think it's possible for you to communicate with other at an altered state? People that are not even present here? people that perhaps are at a distance. I know that Einstein called that a spooky reaction at a distance, but I'm beginning to think that consciousness is our involvement with other beings in an altered state of another dimension of this universe that we live in, and perhaps the grandeur of the great divine power. I'll leave you with that thought. Thank you for listening to my video. Please share. And it's been a pleasure, as usual, to be with you here on this Friday afternoon. It is 2:05 where I reside. Love and light to all of you, and have a wonderful weekend. From a journey into the mind, this is Francis. Goodbye.